guys? I love CES, and every year we come here we see something new. Some cool new thing, whether it's a larger HD TV, a thinner HD TV, or 3D television with stereo effects. Well, this year at our conference, we're going to talk and show you some first of its kind, like always. But before I get into the products, I'd like to talk about something that really excites me and something that's really important, that as we look back over the next several years, we're going to realize that this particular CES was different than all of the others. That this particular CES changed the technology landscape and changed the technology landscape that we know. Now, for all of you that have been watching the mobile industry for some time, it's perfectly obvious to you now that there's a mobile computing revolution underway. That your most personal computing device used to be a personal computer, but now it's the mobile device in your hands. It's perfectly obvious to you now. But the magnitude of this change is still being internalized by all of us. I'd like to spend some time talking about that. This particular CES to me is probably as important and as significant as 1995. The Comdex of 1995. When all of you, and many of you, as I saw in the audience, were also at that particular Comdex, recognized that the world was going to be different. You recognized that the world was going to be different because of the announcement of Windows 95. From that point forward, the personal computer was no longer an office automation device, but it's now a personal computer that we can use in our daily lives. Because of DirectX, the PC transformed itself into a multimedia machine. It was no longer just used for spreadsheets and word processing. You can now use it for videos and playing games, listening to music, storing photographs, all kinds of wonderful things that are part of our lives. Now, what happened in 1995 seems to happen about every 10 years. Every 10 years or so, processor technology gets better, networking technology gets faster, we get more memory in the system, display technology gets richer, and software technology evolves. And all of a sudden, bam, something magical happens in the computer industry. 1995 was the year that I remember where the PC became absolutely the most important device in our lives. About 10 years later or so, in the late 90s and early 2000s, new companies showed up. Networking technology became fast enough that our PCs no longer had to sit by itself. We could connect our PC over to the internet to other PCs, to other people, and to services all over the place. And as a result, new companies were created. Yahoo, Google, eBay, Amazon, and started the internet revolution and made the PC even more useful to us. And to its credit, in the year 2009, 2010, Apple Computer introduced the iPhone and then recently the iPad. These two devices, yet again, combined the evolution of great technology to the point where it revolutionized the way we use computers, the way we build computers, the way we enjoy computers. There is no question at this point there is a computing revolution happening. And with each one of these generations, each one of these eras of computing, the number of users in the world expands. It was hundreds of millions, it seems, during the standalone PC day, the consumer PC, multimedia PC days, where people bought shrink wrap software. If you remember shrink wrap CD-ROMs. And then it became hundreds of millions of people, maybe about 1 billion people that were connected on the internet, enjoying the internet together. Going forward, I think we all believe we're going to have more than one of these mobile computing devices in our lives. And the number of these devices will expand well into the tens of billions in what people are starting to call the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things. Well, in order to have an Internet of Things, you need to have computers in everything. You need to have browsers and everything. You need to have operating systems and everything. And these things will be everywhere, from kiosks to cars to phones and tablets. So this is the beginning of a new era. The beginning of a new era that's really, really important. And I think that we're going to look back on 2011 and this particular CES as that turning point where it became crystal clear to every single one of us that the world has changed. That the companies of the past that were leaders are readjusting their strategies. And new companies are going to emerge and positions are going to change. Now as we look at this particular revolution and think about it in concept, it seems to make a lot of sense. You see more and more iPhones everywhere. You see more and more Android devices everywhere. It seems to make perfect sense. But looking at the numbers, it's completely staggering. Why is it that this computer revolution, this new computing revolution, happened so quickly? And why am I talking about it here? It's perfectly obvious to you in the audience because you're experiencing it in real time. And why is it companies all over the world are still adapting? And the reason for that is because it happened so quickly. If you take a look at the personal computer revolution, the PC revolution, it took nearly 10 years from the introduction of the PC to the time that we were selling about 30 or 40 million units a year, or cumulative shipments of 30 or 40 million units. In the case of these mobile devices, what people call smartphones, it's taken literally only 2 or 3 years for us to have shipped over 100 million units. The rate of growth is really staggering. I mean, if you were to look at this chart and extrapolate it in some kind of a meaningful way, there are no companies in the world that can adapt to this change, no matter who you are. Because technology simply takes longer to develop than that. And so here we are, as an industry, responding to a revolution that was started by a visionary company. This particular CES, you're going to see the pieces come together. This particular CES, you're going to see the pieces come together. And as we see it come together, you're going to see the landscape change. And the landscape is changing in quite dramatic ways, actually. I mean, if you think about this, your most personal computer changed from a PC to a mobile device. The person who makes that mobile computer, the OEM, the company that makes that mobile computer, used to be a computer company, used to be a PC company. But you're now buying these mobile computers from carriers. So the person who builds it and the person you buy it from are different. You used to buy it from an electronic retail store or you buy it online. Now you're buying it at a carrier. So everything from the way you use it, what you use it for, the company that builds it, where you buy it, how you enjoy the software and buy it, has now completely changed. The company on that stack, from the OEM all the way to the architecture, has completely changed. Whereas the old PC used to have an architecture of x86 with discrete CPUs, now this new architecture is ARM and SoC, system on chip. Everything has fundamentally changed. Now, for many of us in the technology industry, investing in the future and building on a dream is something that we love doing. And that's something that we kicked off here at Nvidia some 5 years ago, chasing this new computer industry, if you will, trying to make a contribution to this new computer industry so that we could touch the lives of a lot more people. And we created a processor architecture we call Tegra. Now this particular processor, when I started this project about 5 years ago, I gave the team a really wonderful mission. Hey look, I need you guys to design a processor that is 100 times, 50 to 100 times more energy efficient than a PC, because we need it to fit in your pocket. We need this device to be able to perform all of the types of functionality that you would imagine a mobile device, a computer that you take with you to do. You take a computer with you to enjoy content. You're not computing, you're not developing spreadsheets, you're not writing C# applications. You're reading books, you're enjoying magazines, you're watching movies, you're streaming websites, you're playing games. So this particular device has to do all of those things. And it has to be tiny so that it can fit in your pocket. And so Tegra 2 is 50 times more efficient, energy efficient than a typical PC. It's less than the size of a dime, and it can leap tall buildings. And I'm just really, really excited about Tegra 2. The engineers have done a fabulous job with it. Now there's a few distinguishing characteristics of Tegra 2 that we've really focused on. We believe that multitasking is going to be an important characteristic of how you use a mobile device. Because you're going to be listening to music, or you're going to be still connected to the web while you're enjoying your book or playing a game. You could be chatting to somebody while you're playing a game. So the ability to multitask is really important. The second thing is we believe that this mobile device is going to become a computer first and a phone second. Whereas a phone was a phone first and computer second. And so as a computer first and phone second, it needs to have the ability to access, to enjoy the web in its full glory, because fundamentally the web is today's computing platform. How could you design a great computer that doesn't access the web or that can't experience the web in its full glory? And so we decided that despite the great challenges that people have talked about, that we would team up with Adobe to build the world's first accelerated, fully hardware accelerated flash processor. And by doing so, we give ourselves the benefit of going and leveraging and benefiting from all of the hundreds of millions of websites that are built all over the world that humanity has invested in over the last 2 decades. We instantly have access to that. And the third thing we decided to do that was differentiated was we thought there was a large investment of great content that has been developed for game consoles and PCs over the years. These infrastructures and platforms and development environments have been developed for a couple of 2-3 decades now that we've been working with. And that we would like that content, that development platform, and those developers to be able to bring their asset to a mobile environment. And so we created an architecture that can enjoy great console-style games, bring the Nvidia DNA into this. Now, of course, having said all that, everything has to be in high definition. It should be able to do everything that a smartphone does today. It should be able to perform at the level of any smartphone today, in addition with all of these new characteristics. Now, over the course of today, we're going to focus on one particular category. Tegra 2 announcements are going to be sprinkled throughout the week. You're going to see Tegra 2 announcements by a variety of smartphone companies and carriers. You're going to see tablet announcements of Tegra 2. You're even going to see car announcements of Tegra 2. And the reason why Tegra 2 is going to be so important for cars is because, as it turns out, energy consumption directly relates to weight, directly relates to fuel efficiency. And if you wanted to design a highly fuel-efficient car, the best thing you should do is reduce its weight and reduce the electrical energy consumption of that car. And there's so many processors in cars now. And so Tegra 2 is really perfect for the instrumentation, for the navigation, for the entertainment of modern cars. So you're going to see some announcements from leading car companies. You'll even see Tegra 2 used in an electric car. So if you barely have any energy, you better be miserly about the energy consumption of your instrumentation panel. And so I think Tegra 2 adoption into the next Tesla car was just recently announced. So you're going to see a variety of announcements. Keep your eyes and ears open for it. But today I'm going to focus on one particular category. This is a category that we call the superphone. If you have a super chip, you got to put it into a superphone. Now this is a category that is surprisingly exciting and surprisingly fast growing, and it reminds me of the good old days of the PC. If you remember in 1995 when Windows 95 came out, the world couldn't get enough fast PCs. The fastest growing segment were the high-end segment. And the reason for that is because the experience wasn't good enough yet. And every time you put out a better processor, a better computer, people threw more content on it, which made you wish you had more processing capability. And so that high-end segment was the fastest growing. Secondarily, what is unique about the mobile industry is this. Because this particular device is fundamentally designed for content enjoyment, for content consumption. And because the Tegra 2 superphones are able to allow you to enjoy movies and books and magazines and games, access to web all the time, because it's so enjoyable, you want to do it more. These high-end phones also happen to generate the highest ARPU, revenue per user. And as a result of that, carriers are highly encouraged to make sure that everybody has a superphone. Everybody has a high-end phone, so that they can enjoy the services that they ultimately provide. This is one of those weird markets where the most expensive device, the most desirable device, the most capable devices also happens to be the most affordable. And the reason for that is because the subsidies of the carriers wanting you to enjoy these devices so that they could obviously provide you with greater service capability. So this is going to be a surprisingly fast-growing market. And in fact, if you look out there and listen to the carriers and what are the that are really in great demand and frankly all sold out, it's all typically the high-end phones. Typically the high-end phones. Okay? So we believe there's going to be a new category of phones called the superphones. Superphones are, the next generation of smart. And these devices are going to be able to do amazing things. It is my great pleasure to, at this point, introduce the world's first Tegra 2 superphone. And to help me introduce the world's first Tegra 2 superphone, I would like to welcome Mr. Jung to the stage. Mr. Jung, please. Mr. Jung is Vice President at LG. LG, as you know, is one of the world's leading consumer electronics and mobile companies. This is a world leader in display technology, and we're just incredibly delighted to have worked with you guys on this.
Thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, if Mr. Jung and I could announce the LG Optimus 2X Tegra 2 superphone. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I brought a phone all the way from Korea for Jensen, and make sure this is a phone for you, because I couldn't, help getting one for me. So I have my own.
Oh, hey, there you go.
So there you go. This is
one of the things that you can really expect from LG is amazing industrial design.
Sure.
And something about this piece of glass that really blows my mind is it feels like it's 3D. It's curved and feels exquisite in your hands. And I think this is a wonderfully manufactured phone. Now, Mr. Jung, can you tell me about the history of the vision of Optimus 2X and how you guys, what was the starting point and the story of how you guys decided on Tegra 2?
Absolutely. So I think it started about a year ago. And the team, product planning team at LG Electronics had a vision of creating this, what they call, beauty outside, but monster inside.
Beauty outside, monster inside.
So something,
Am I the beauty or the monster? I like to. I'll stick with beauty.
So that's the concept we were thinking about and saying, look, for the average Joe, ordinary Joe out there, and of course, all of the audience here, they understand, okay, the chips and all the other components. But when people walk into, let's say, Verizon store, they're going to look at there are a variety of phones, and which phones I want to pick it up, and then feel in my hands. So the design and the great feel, that matters. So we said, okay, let's create a phone which is really beautiful, but inside it has a powerful engine, a chip, and all the supporting components in it, so that we can bring all these, things people only imagine and think about, but now they can enjoy. We call the laptop desktop as a personal computer, but it's not really personal, right? But phone is a truly personal device. People say, hey, this phone tells a lot about things about me. So it's a personal device. So the journey started right there. Then, we thinking about, okay, who actually can work with us as a partner to bring this concept into reality. So we think about chipset partner, and then obviously Nvidia came into mind. So I think it was at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. We sat down with the Nvidia team and shared our vision. Hey, here's the vision, and then it started all from there, right? So it was a great journey. I would say journey is only getting more excited from now on, and it's really honored.
Well, this is truly an amazing phone. If you were, when you think about this phone, what are some of the defining characteristics of this phone that you think the users would really enjoy?
Right. So I like to break that down into two categories. One is, as I said, beauty outside, and then the other is monster inside. The beauty outside part is, to your point, is a great design, industrial design. When you first, our customer look at it, as we wanted them to fall in love with this device at first sight. So that is the whole concept. So we had this, covered glass at the four corners. And also we gave a little the angle toward the edge of a glass. So when you hold it, it really, gives you great grip. And also the material there and color, we have a few color variations. So that's something we did. And then, obviously marrying that into this powerful chip, right? That was our thought. So supporting to that, we had two teams running in parallel. One team is conducting all this customer research and thinking about, what customer really want. Before talking about what customer really need. So we talk about the want part first and then need part. Then we're working with the Nvidia team and saying, look, we have this powerful Tegra 2 chip. And to meet these wants and needs, what we need to do. So that's the two works in parallel, teams talking to each other. They co-located in Seoul, co-located in Santa Clara, right? So working great.
That's really amazing.
And that's the result.
Well, you should be very proud. This is really an amazing phone.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you very much.
Let's do this. Let's take this thing on for a test drive. Let's see here. Now, one of the things that is a world's first. This is a super phone should always have the type of peripheral connections that you would expect a computer to have. And this particular LG Superphone has a HDMI connector to it. Let's just connect that in there. Let's see here. So you guys see that? So we got and it's driving an HD TV. Hang on. Do this one more time. Now this is Android, for all of you who haven't played with Android before, and the Android operating system, Andy Rubin and the team did a great job with it. I really love the widget concept of Android. If you guys haven't had a chance to play with Android, these active applications that are always on, there's multiple panels, and so there's applications and there are these widgets, and so there's the search widget, there's a Slacker radio widget, the music player widget, there's the San Francisco looks like it's a pretty nice day widget, and that's the augmented reality layer widget, multiple time clock widget. So there's all kinds of things, and you have the ability to look at this pretty snappy phone here. The user interface is really snappy and works quickly. Ability to show you multiple desktops and multiple panels at one time. You choose the one that you would like to go to, and one of the I guess fun applications that people really enjoy is Angry Bird, and I don't know why they're so angry, but you have the ability to play this on an HD TV now. And so all of a sudden, this I don't think anybody's ever seen Angry Bird quite that big before. And this is great. So let's do it. There we go. Thank you. So you can read magazines, you can read books, you could do all kinds of stuff. So let's see, what else can we do here? You got a photo gallery. The Tegra 2 has one of the fastest image sensing processors in the world, and so the camera's super fast. It also has an 8 megapixel camera. Here's some photographs, some home photos. This is from, every year instead of a Christmas party, we take the money we would have spent on a Christmas party and we donate it to, we adopt a cause in the community. And this last year, we adopted a neighborhood and that's kind of run down, and about 1,000 employees. We spent a few $100,000 that we would have spent in the Christmas party, and we transformed the neighborhood for them. And as a result, we have wonderful memories and people in the community that we've helped. And so now you've got look. This is a photo gallery that you can share with your friends and your family. Just connect it to HDMI. You could high definition videos, 1080p HD video.
Oh, how I wish I was back in my cage with my mirror and my little bell.
Bobo here can't fly.
Don't worry, Blue. It's in your DNA.
That's
If
pretty
my
great.
featherless friends can do it, how hard can it be?
That's pretty amazing, right? Right off your little tiny device here. Okay. And look at this. So the UI is super snappy, and we just there were 10 apps running at the same time. So one of the things that's really great about Android is that it's multitasking. So I could have all these different apps that are open, and if I like to close them because I'm done using it and I'd like to free up some memory, I can turn off those applications. But the world's first mobile device that's completely multitasking. So you could be streaming audio, go to your web browser, open that up, and go browse the web. Google's up. Let's go to something that's a little challenging here. Why don't we go to something that needs Flash? Now, of course, could you guys spare me a little bandwidth? Just a little. A little more than that. If you guys could just a little, smidgen. I feel like I'm on 56K here. Well, this is something that Kyle can do something about when you guys meet him later. One of the reasons why we need more and more bandwidth is because you guys hog it all. And so this particular website, the Wall Street Journal website, of course, has a Flash video, but it also has Flash advertisements. Obviously, the foundation of e-commerce for the internet, a lot of it is related to advertising. And Flash is the engine behind a great deal of the advertising and the advertisers out in the world. And so there's a black box on the right-hand side that if you guys could give me the opportunity to load, it would show you a web, a Flash advertisement. Oh, you guys suck. You guys are completely terrible. We have these blasters here that blocks you guys, and apparently a couple of you guys have a blocker hacking capability, and I'm still blocked. You guys really suck. All right, so at 1K baud, we will be enjoying a web experience here shortly. And so instead of that, why don't we go do something else? And so imagine. Can you guys imagine a website coming up and Flash coming up? So I like you guys to imagine that, and it's really a delightful experience. And where did I leave the clicker? It's a wonderful and delightful experience. Here's some great applications. Look, this is Autodesk Sketchbook. I just love this, and the number of applications that are on Android now is phenomenal. And so you could do all kinds of sketching if you like. So all kinds of great applications. So Tegra, the world's first Tegra 2 phone, Optimus 2X. Congratulate LG and the team. Thank you very much. Now, if I had the opportunity to show you what it was like to go to a website with and actually succeed in doing it, you would have realized the importance of having Flash. Now, there's all kinds of websites all over the world that needs Flash. This particular website is one of my favorites, Barbie.com. And you can see it says, "Hey girl, get Flash." I mean, that's about as clear as it gets. But it's not just Barbie. I mean, it's NBA.com, some of the most important brands in the world. Disney.com. Here's one. PBSKids.com. I mean, how sad is it for your kid to show up at one of these websites and for you to have to explain what Flash is to a 6-year-old? I mean, that alone is reason to make sure that your device has Flash in it. And then here's one. This is Google's website. I think they have a little traffic. Google's website also, if you wanted to enjoy it in its full glory, you need to have Flash. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Flash compatibility is one of the most important things in enjoying the web the way it was meant to be enjoyed. And so, what about performance, though? Compatibility is one thing, but performance is also important. And this is one of the areas where we put an enormous amount of energy working with the engineers at Adobe, putting our two teams together so that we could design a web flash player, a mobile flash player that allows us to get the benefits of the GPU that's inside our chip. And so that we could, on the one hand, enhance the performance, but on the other hand, because it's done so efficiently, reduce the power that is used while you're enjoying the website. And so why don't we bring up a couple of examples for you. This is a Flash game. You saw Flash video, Flash advertisements, but this is Flash games. This particular game is on a desktop, full-out website, and we're playing this website from 2 mobile devices. On the right-hand side is a Tegra 2 Flash accelerated processor, and on the left-hand side is some poor guy he's trying to play it in slow motion, which may very well be easier. So you have you see the benefits of a GPU accelerated Flash engine, and this is completely a result. Despite what some people say is an impossible task, when you put great engineers together, this is what you're able to achieve. Let's put our hands together for the engineers at Adobe and Nvidia, please. So now you have a processor and a platform that allows you to have full Flash compatibility, as well as the experience that you would expect while you're on a desktop, while you're on a laptop computer. Adobe, as you know, is one of the most important technology companies in the world. You benefit all the time from their creation and their contribution to the industry. From content that's created, to content that's published, to content that's enjoyed by all of us, Adobe is somewhere in that ecosystem, and largely in that ecosystem. Because of the work, we've been able to enjoy digital content on all these different devices that we're enjoying in today. As the world moves towards mobile computing, and the primary use case is going to be content consumption, the work that Adobe does is going to become increasingly important. And this is one of the reasons why our partnership with Adobe over the years has become so important. We work with Adobe in the area of digital content creation for workstations, for digital artists. I mean, if you create videos, if you enjoy working with photographs, the workstations that you're using likely has an Nvidia GPU inside, and likely has, and very likely has, Adobe's technology inside. To help us talk a little bit more about Adobe and their vision and the pervasiveness of their work over the years, let's introduce someone who's a very, very special guest and a good friend of mine, Shantanu Narayan, CEO of Adobe. Shantanu, first of all, congratulations. I want to thank you and your engineers for the great work that you did, and as a result of that, mobile users all over the world are going to be able to go to any website they like and enjoy a very good web experience as a result of our work together. I want to thank you for that.
No, it's really, we should be thanking you, Jensen, because it is all about consumption. And to be able to create these great interactive experiences and then have people experience it in a mobile way and in a multi-screen way, I think that's what the power of the two companies working together can unleash. Congratulations on all your announcements. I mean, I was waiting for the announcement for if your Tegra 2 chip can leap buildings and they're in cars. Now do you have cars that can leap buildings as well? I mean,
We're working on that. We're working on that.
But I also do want to acknowledge what you said earlier, which is I think the companies have worked really well together first on unleashing all the developer and creative authoring perspective. And so the work we did with you to put in our premier products, the Mercury engine based on CUDA, it now allows everybody to create all of that immersive content. And now it's all about enabling people to experience it in a mobile way.
Everybody knows that Flash is important. But I think that people don't completely internalize the expansiveness of Flash consumption. Can you give us, give the audience a sense of how pervasive Flash is and maybe some statistics on how important Flash is?
Sure. I mean, the impact that Adobe has had. I mean, can you pick up a newspaper, a magazine in the world, a graphic, a website, or video which hasn't been touched by some piece of Adobe software? But to speak specifically about, Flash, after we introduced Flash 10.1, it's actually had the fastest adoption we've ever had for any Flash player. Take video, for example, because, Flash, the reality is Flash is used for video. It's used for advertising, as you talked about. It's used for casual gaming on the web. It's used to create enterprise applications. In video alone, the amount of Flash video that's been streamed over the internet has actually doubled over the past 2 years. And to put a number on it, just last month, I think there's something like 120 petabytes of video that's streamed. That's 128 billion megabytes of Flash video. And so, there is a ton of content that everybody's creating out there using our tools and using our formats.
That's really amazing. And so if you were to, obviously one of the questions that people have, Flash is now nearly in every single website. Whenever we enjoy graphics or video on the web, it's likely related to Flash. But everybody asks about, what is the relationship between Flash going forward and HTML5 going forward? How do you think through that, and how should we think through that?
It's really a non-issue. It's all about the creative community and the developer community, and what are they trying to create? And they're trying to create these compelling digital experiences. We've talked a lot about gaming here today. We've talked about video, but even enterprise applications. I mean, the reality is enterprise applications are going to completely be transformed with the kind of functionality that you have. And so we're going to produce the best tools. If people want to do that in HTML, that's great. If they want to do that in Flash, that's great. But you have to really look at the use case. And Adobe is all about, if people want to create a particular kind of experience, if the standard doesn't exist, we'll invent it. Because we want to do the creation, we want to do the distribution, and we want to do the delivery.
And over the next decade, surely maybe even longer than that, the fact of the matter is these websites, hundreds of millions of websites, and now applications all over the place, some are going to use Flash and some will slowly adopt HTML5, but the fact of the matter is what we should do as device manufacturers and device makers and platform creators, we should make sure that our devices are able to enjoy either format going forward. And your tools are going to make sure that the best content will be enjoyed on top of those platforms.
That's absolutely right. In fact, Air, when you look at the Air technology that's used for digital publishing, for example, whether it's Wired Magazine or National Geographic, it actually uses a combination of Flash and HTML. And Adobe is also actually contributing to WebKit and to web standards, because it's in our best interest to make sure that these kinds of experiences are available for consumers around the world.
Yeah,
we love the partnership with you.
Yeah, most of the people barely realize that when they look at the magazines today and they flip through it in a digital way, and first of all, they're delighted because they can carry with them all of their magazines in one particular tablet device. But very few of them really realize the potential of technology, a platform like Air and Flash, on a digital magazine. All of a sudden it comes alive. And some of the stuff that you've shown me, and maybe we'll save that for another day, some of the stuff that you show me on Air is just absolutely amazing. It is making things digital isn't the point. Making things interactive is the point, and making it enjoyable is the point. And Air will do that for digital magazines.
I agree, Jensen, and I think you said something profound in the beginning, which is it is all about this CES being the next phase of mobile and multi-screen computing. And I think it's going to be exciting for consumers, and it's going to be exciting for content creators.
That's terrific. Shantanu, thank you very much for your partnership. You guys did a great job.
Thank you, Jetson.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
And so now you've seen the device, snappy device, really interactive device with Tegra 2. The Flash enables us to have a great experience on the web. But we also think that you want to enjoy all kinds of other content. Video, photographs are fabulous as well. But what about games? The early generation of games that we saw on these mobile devices were simple. The details were rather crude. We think that the experience ought to be far, far better than that. And as we have more processing capability, more storage, and more bandwidth coming our way, one of the experiences that is lacking is console quality games. And to help us talk more about that, I would like to introduce a really cool developer called Trendy. They created this really amazing game called Dungeon Defender. And to help us talk about that, I'd like to welcome Jeremy Steiglitz. Let's see, where is he? There he is. Jeremy, like all game developers, are about 16, and but they're captains of industry, and because of your work, we're able to enjoy great games everywhere. Jeremy, so you're going to show us this new, really cool game, and this really cool game is a multi-platform game. It's a multiplayer game. But tell us quickly about Dungeon Defender and what it's about.
Sure. Dungeon Defenders is a online role-playing action RPG. You kind of log in, you choose a hero class, and you slay monsters to get loot and experience. And you also use some strategy. You can place down defenses. So your goal is to work as a team to survive waves of all kinds of crazy monsters in a fantasy medieval environment.
And if you were... Okay, I was trying to figure out, what does that sound?
That's the game.
Yeah, it's the game. And so if you were to this particular game plays, and we're looking at currently somebody playing on a PC, and so obviously the game itself and the game engine itself requires a very high performance platform.
It does indeed. It is an Unreal Engine 3 title. For those in the game industry, Unreal Engine 3 is a game that powers Gears of War, game engine powers Gears of War, Unreal Tournament, Infinity Blade, etc. It's a very high-powered game engine, typically used for the best that console and PC games have to offer. And you're seeing the game being played right now on the PC with Unreal Engine 3.
That's cool. And then the next thing, you've got, show me another one.
You've got PlayStation 3 as well. So these two consoles, PlayStation 3 and PC, are playing together online. What we're finally able to do now, actually, with the advent of Tegra 2, is I think...
Well, okay, show me the next one.
We're able to bring Tegra 2 into the online gaming as well. With the same content,
that's amazing.
the same game. You're now able to have a console online multiplayer experience in your hand wherever you go. And for game developers, this is really exciting because we don't want people to stop playing our game just because they have to, say, go to work, you know.
So let me see. So let me see if I can understand this. So the same game, these three players are playing in the exact same environment, and I can see them. They're playing the same environment. One's playing on a PC, one's playing on PlayStation 2, and one's playing on a Tegra.
That's correct, and what allows us to do that is that the Tegra 2 is sufficiently powerful, sufficiently advanced, that it's able to use the same assets, the same code, and the same functionality as the PC and console version. So we don't have to scale anything back.
Okay, thank you.
A lot
Thank you very much, Jeremy. That's terrific. Okay, let me kick this up in turbo here. The next one, I want to show you another game. This is from a really cool developer as well. This is a developer called Mobile Bits. They're developing a 3D title that's going to be published by Chilingo. Chilingo is the famous publisher that brought you Angry Birds, and Chilingo recently has been acquired by Electronic Arts. Mobile Bits also has developed a game engine that is particularly well suited to bring 3D type of experiences to these mobile devices. To help talk about that, let's welcome Karsten Weiss, please. Karsten, welcome.
First story, I'm not 16 anymore, but I started developing games when I was 16.
Well, let's see. You're developing a 3D title, and this particular 3D title takes advantage of the Tegra graphics processor, the GPU. And tell me about some of the challenges of developing a 3D title that's as rich as what we see in a game console and a PC, but in a mobile environment? What are some of the technical challenges?
Originally, we come from being a normal or professional PC and console developer. So we used to use a lot of shaders and polygons and stuff. And about 2 years ago, we decided there's an app world coming, so the mobile world is very interesting. So we switched over there, and all the engineers were a bit disappointed because all the great stuff they were used to do on the PC and on the consoles were no longer possible. And now they're happy again because they have now sufficient power to really create awesome.
And this is your game. And what is the name of this game?
It's called Soulcraft.
Soulcraft.
It's also an action RPG. You play either a human, an angel, or a demon, and fight for who rules the world after the fight has been
Well, that looks like a high-end computer with GeForce inside. And so this is a game that is completely in 3D. The geometry fidelity is really high, something that you won't see in a smartphone today.
Yeah,
and the ability to light and shadow it.
Yeah, we created the assets especially for this tech demo, the polygons you see here and the textures are about like 2-3 times the amount of polygons and 4 times the amount of textures you would normally have on like the iPhone and comparable devices.
That's really terrific. Okay, thank you very much. Hey, Kristen, thank you. And so really fast interactivity, multitasking, great web experience, great console game experience, all of that, those type of things, high definition experience, those are the type of things that we expect smartphones to do. You're seeing a collage of the type of apps that are currently running on Tegra 2. There's going to be a whole bunch of them more coming, and it's going to start this whole revolution called the super phone revolution that we're really excited about. Now, building one of these devices is fabulous. But obviously, now that we can process and we can enjoy content, one of the greatest bottlenecks, as you know, is getting content to these devices. And we're really lucky today to have someone who knows a great deal about broadband, who can talk to us about the state of the broadband industry and the vision going forward. Please welcome Kyle Malady from Verizon, Vice President of Network and Technology. Well, as the world leader in broadband deployment, give me a status right now of where is 4G?
Well, clearly we need some in here. But what we're excited about is we're rolling out our LTE 4G network. We've rolled it out, we've deployed it, and this is going to be our coming out party here at CES this year. It's been 3.5 years or more in the works, and really what it's about is trying to up the ante and up the bar. You were going back to glory days in '95. I remember trying to put together a modem bank, and we were getting 9.6 baud out of it, and we were pumped up going over the air.
That's what I got today.
What we're seeing now with 4G LTE, we're promising rates on the download of 5 to 12 megabits a second. But I've been traveling around the country the last few weeks, and I've been continuously getting over 20 megs a second down. And that's a game changer. And for that to be important, though, we need Tegra 2 type products in the devices so you can fully leverage that. The other important thing is the uplink on LTE. That really makes gaming possible, just like some of those games you saw. You can really take it to the next level. And the latency of LTE is 4-fold better. So in our 3G networks today, you have about 130 millisecond round trip time. Now we're going to be down to 30 milliseconds or better.
That's going to be really fabulous for people who are playing multiplayer games, so that they can stay synchronized in the same environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We really think it's going to bring the user experience up on gaming, video. It's really going to open up video for people mobily. Experience is going to be way better.
So downloading movies or stream movies, so those kind of experiences are going to become normal, common day, everyday experience.
Absolutely. It's going to be a game changer.
What are some of the applications that you guys are showing at this particular CES that we pay attention to?
Well, I'd like to invite everybody over to our booth in the South Hall. We're going to be showing a ton of devices and applications. A lot of people are talking about LTE and 4G, but we're going to do more than that. We're going to show you what we've done. We've been working with partners like Nvidia and others over the last 1.5 years, and you're going to see all kinds of great things. One thing you will see is the game we just saw up there. We're going to have people playing the game in our booth. We're going to have people playing the game in Nvidia's booth. They're going to be using LTE as a transport mechanism. and it looks super.
Really doing that over a 4G network.
Over 4G,
Yeah.
live 4G network. So it's going to be incredible. We'll
That's
have a
really
whole bunch of things you'll see over the coming days, but we're really excited. We're really excited to be partnering with you guys. You guys do a great job really helping the ecosystem with your processors, but also working with developers and bringing content. And, we look forward to a great future together.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Kyle. Thanks for coming. Well, it's great. You know, as a processor company, we have the ability to process through and crank through a great deal of content. It's great to have a partner like Verizon who has the vision to bring the broadband deploy broadband to the world so that we could have the content deployed to us. One of the most exciting applications for broadband is something that has been talked about in science fiction for a long time that frankly we haven't been able to do. And today, for the first time, we're going to show you this experience on a tablet. We're going to show you this experience on an Android operating system. Please welcome virtually Manrique Bernes, who is the Director of Platform Product Management at Skype. Skype, as you know, is, if you were to think of them as a network, a virtual network, they are one of the largest in the world. There are, I think, something well over 100 million active users of Skype. My family is a very active user of Skype, and our company is an active user of Skype. To show you what is possible now with, what? Okay, so this is exactly what happens to a first, this is when I jinx it with first of its kind, never before seen experience. You can guarantee you will still not see it. The way that we rehearsed it, I'm supposed to just reach out here and pull out a tablet, and then Manrique and I are going to communicate over the 1 kilobit per second that you guys have left over for us. And apparently that is just not going to happen. And so Manrique, come on. We'll do it live. So, you know, if video conferencing doesn't work, I guess you have to go and touch the hand. You got to go touch the flesh. You got to do it the good old-fashioned way.
Just imagine. But we're very happy with the development so far. It's a shame that the bandwidth is really not letting us do what we wanted. But we're excited to be in Tegra. We're excited to be on an Android platform doing video, great HD video, and we're looking forward to.
Now, the thing that we wish we could have shown you was actually HD video chatting over Skype on a tablet, right? And so that was the experience we were hoping to show you, but because we don't have any bandwidth left over, the thing that we can assure yourself, United Airlines is particularly excited about this development, right? As a result of that, air travel will continue. Well, man, Rika, let's do this another time. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Well, let me quickly do this part. We have a really big announcement that we'd like to make. Unfortunately, we had so much stuff to go through today that we didn't have enough time. But we've shown you the smallest device that NVIDIA has ever made. NVIDIA is a processor company, and our processors are used in a range of devices that range now from superphones all the way up to supercomputers. Our GPUs are used in the world's fastest supercomputers. They're used in the most powerful and the craziest and wildest game machines. They're used in high-end laptops to deliver the best experiences. They're used in game consoles like PlayStation 3. And of course now we're talking about superphones and tablets. These particular platforms all share one thing in common, which is a great user experience. The interactivity, the high-definition experience is really important to us. The architecture that we use across the board changes and ranges from x86 for the computing platform all the way to ARM in mobile devices. Now, one of the things that we're seeing now, because of the pervasiveness and the openness of ARM, and because there are so many content developers around the world who are now focused on this mobile computing revolution, the energy around the ARM architecture is absolutely enormous. The fact of the matter is, if you're a software developer and you're not working on ARM, you've got your head in the sand somewhere. And I think that that's to be a fair statement today. And the reason for that is because software developers want to go towards the fastest growing and the largest markets. Installed base matters, TAM matters to them. And so it stands to reason that the ARM processor is becoming more and more important. If you take a look at the annual shipments of the projected annual shipments of ARM versus the x86, the two what we consider to be industry standard processors in the world today. Over the next 5 years, over the next several years, even less than 5 years, there will be more ARM processors shipped than all of x86 processors ever shipped. There is no question now that in just 2 or 3 years' time, and that's the reason why I say large companies simply didn't see this coming. In just 2 or 3 years' time, overnight practically in technology time, it became evident that the ARM processor is now the world's most important ISA and the new open and the new standard microprocessor architecture. And that leads me to my next announcement. Now, of course, this particular architecture has the world's most exciting operating systems supporting it already, iOS and RIM and Android. The only thing that's really holding it back is, what about Windows? Now, I'm not here to announce Windows. However, I found this on the web. So, you know, it's all fair game. And it said, Microsoft said to be unveiling Windows for ARM chips. And I need to wrap this up so we can go find out. They're I'm shortly due to go to a Microsoft press conference. And I wonder if they're going to be talking about something like this, which brings me to my next announcement. And this is one of the most strategic announcements, one of the most important announcements that we have ever made at NVIDIA. We've been working for some time on a processor, and the processor is called Project Ember. The rumors of Project Ember in our industry has been swirling for some time. Are they building a new GPU? Are they building an x86 processor? Are they building, I don't know, a spaceship? NVIDIA's projects are always highly scrutinized because everybody wants to know what we're building next. Well, we're building, as it turns out, a full custom processor designed at NVIDIA with partnership with ARM that is based on ARM. This is NVIDIA's first CPU development with veterans from all over the industry who have built x86s and Sparks and MIPS and PowerPCs. And this great team has come together to build the world's first ARM processor that is targeted at high-performance computing. Whereas ARM is going to continue to and will continue to license ARM processors that are for mobile computing, what we wanted to do was to expand the reach of this architecture. We felt that with all of the momentum and all the energy around ARM from developers, the one thing they wish they had is if they could leverage that development environment and that resource and that investment to beyond mobile computing, to servers, to PCs, to supercomputers, to cloud computing. Wouldn't that be fabulous? The same tools, the same software development environment, the same engineers, the same compilers. Wouldn't that be fabulous? And so we decided to partner with ARM to build that world's first. I think that this is a game changer. This is certainly a game changer for us. And now with Apple, Google, and rumors of Microsoft supporting the ARM processor, which makes perfect sense. I mean, if you were an operating system company, why wouldn't you support the world's largest installed base of processors? Why isn't that the most important thing to do? So it stands to reason that all of these operating systems will be supporting ARM. What we want to do is apply our DNA and our expertise and our R&D capability to expand the reach of ARM beyond mobile into every range of computing, from supercomputers all the way down to superphones. And so that's it. I think that this is a vitally important CES. And I hope that at the end of the week, as you think back about what we talked about today, that you'll realize that this is the beginning of a new era. That this year, the personal computing industry is redefined. The industry is redefined. New players, new positions. And the way we enjoy computers, personal computing for users, will be redefined. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Congratulations to LG and their launch, and have a great CES.